Did you know that most cannabis plants don't actually produce THC? That's right, the cannabis plant primarily produces THCA, not THC. And understanding the difference could completely change how you think about cannabis. In this video, we're going to explain what THCA is, how it becomes THC, why it's become one of the most talked about cannabinoids in the cannabis industry, and why freshness matters more than most consumers realize. Let's get started. THCA stands for tetrahydrocannabinolic acid. It's the naturally occurring cannabinoid found in raw cannabis plants before they're heated. Think of THCA as THC's precursor. Freshly harvested cannabis contains very little active delta-9 THC. Instead, it contains THCA, which does not produce the same intoxicating effects that THC is known for. If you were to consume raw cannabis flower, you would primarily be consuming THCA. This is because THCA's molecular structure is different from THC. That difference prevents it from interacting with the body's cannabinoid receptors in the same way that THC does. So how does THCA become THC? The answer is heat. When cannabis is smoked, vaporized, or baked into an edible, a process called decarboxylation occurs. Decarboxylation is simply the removal of a small molecular group called a carboxyl group from the THCA molecule. When that happens, THCA transforms into delta-9 THC. This activated form of THC is what interacts most strongly with CB1 receptors in the brain and nervous system. Those interactions are responsible for many of the effects commonly associated with cannabis. Without heat, very little of that conversion takes place. With heat, THCA becomes THC. Another important factor many consumers don't think about is cannabinoid degradation. Cannabis isn't chemically frozen in time after harvest. As flower ages, cannabinoids gradually change. THC can slowly oxidize and degrade into a cannabinoid known as CBN, or cannabinol. While researchers continue to study CBN and its potential effects, many consumers associate higher CBN levels with older flower and a more relaxing or sedating experience. This is one reason freshness matters. When you purchase quality THCA flower, most of the cannabinoids are still in their natural acidic form. Then, when heat is applied through smoking, vaporization, or cooking, the THCA is converted into THC at the time of use. This helps preserve the cannabinoid profile that growers intended and can provide a more predictable experience for consumers. Think of THCA as the plant's fresh form and THC as the activated form. The longer cannabis sits under poor storage conditions, excessive heat, oxygen exposure, or sunlight, the more those cannabinoids can begin to change. That's why freshness, storage conditions, harvest dates, and proper curing can be just as important as potency percentages. So why has THCA become so popular in recent years? One reason is that under certain interpretations of federal hemp laws, products may be evaluated based on their delta-9 THC content before heating. Because THCA has not yet converted into delta-9 THC, some products have been sold through hemp channels despite containing significant amounts of THCA. However, laws vary significantly between states, and regulations continue to evolve. Consumers should always understand and follow the laws where they live. From a practical standpoint, many THCA flower products look, smell, and perform similarly to traditional cannabis flower once they are heated. That's because the THCA converts into THC during use. The plant may start out rich in THCA, but once it is smoked, vaporized, or otherwise heated, the chemistry changes. Researchers also continue to study THCA itself. Interest exists regarding inflammation, neuroprotection, nausea, and other areas of cannabinoid research. However, much of this research remains preliminary, and more clinical studies are needed before definitive conclusions can be made. Like many cannabinoids, THCA is still being actively studied as scientists continue learning more about how cannabinoids interact with the human body and the endocannabinoid system. So the next time you hear someone talking about THCA, remember this. THCA is the natural cannabinoid produced by the cannabis plant. THC is what happens when heat activates that THCA through decarboxylation. And understanding that simple conversion helps explain why THCA has become one of the most discussed cannabinoids in the modern cannabis industry. It also highlights why freshness, proper storage, and overall flower quality matter just as much as the numbers printed on a label. For more cannabis science, cannabis history, cannabinoid education, and industry insights, be sure to follow Cannabis for America and the Cannabis Informer. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.